Leo, remember this year, you are ruled by the sun. You lead, you shine, you create. That's what you do. That's who you are. And so while 2024 may have some shade, remind yourself, you are the sun and you get to decide where, when, and to who you direct your sunlight towards. Hi, my name is Comet, and welcome to my Cosmic Corner of the Internet, where we discuss all things astrology, and today, all things Leo in the year 2024. What are the major themes and transits that you can anticipate moving into the year ahead? And furthermore, how you can shine amidst these themes and transits. I am a huge proponent around leveraging astrology as a tool and a guiding light that my work revolves around. So every single video you'll find on my channel, every single offering that I put out there is all centered by this idea of being able to use astrology to bucket our energy intentionally, to validate the experiences that we are moving through, and to seize cosmic opportunities as they do align for you. Now, you have a lot of opportunities within the year ahead, Leo, but you also have some challenges. And it's important to highlight that it is never my intention to fearmonger you. I will be straight up about the themes that I see reflected within your horoscope, but it's never my intention to scare you with this information, simply to prepare you and to let you know how to seize some of these celestial blessings, because Leo, there's a lot. This video is part of my brand new series here on the channel called 12 Days of Cosmos, where we are taking every single sign through 2024, through the year ahead. And the videos that you'll want to listen to is most definitely your rising sign. That will be the most accurate, and to a lesser degree, your sun sign. This is because I utilize within this video a lot of house techniques as well as solar house techniques. Hence why you need your rising sign, that's your actual houses, and then your sun sign, that's your solar houses. Now, you are so welcome to listen to your other placements, your moon, Mercury, and Venus, and Mars, and just observe where you resonate with those themes. But this video is designed for you to definitely listen for your rising and your sun. So without further ado, Leo, let's get into the celestial tea, because my, it is boiling hot. Okay, Leo, in telling the story of your 2024, I want to firstly acquaint you with your defining transit. Now, this one was hard to identify because there's a couple that were in mind that are more pivotal for your year ahead, but there is a really there is a very important cycle aligning for you currently that I want to ensure I get you acquainted with. And you may reflect on this year 2024 as a key part of starting to see the story being told. So it's important to know that you're at the very beginning of this journey. You're on the precipice of this. This transit will be the case until 2043. So don't feel like every single chapter and plot and character will be put out there this year. But what I will say is there's starting to be some foreshadows and some harbingers around where the plot is going. And there might be some important characters who enter the book, so to speak. And so the transit that I am referring to, Leo, is Pluto ingressing into Aquarius for good this time. So Pluto is moving into your opposite sign, Aquarius, for the long haul being 2043. And that means, Leo, that from essentially last year when we got the first dip of this transit to 2043, you will experience a Pluto opposition. And I want to let you know, firstly, that not everybody will experience Pluto opposing their personal placements. Pluto moves so slow that the country, the United States, just had its Pluto return. That's how slow Pluto moves, that it has taken all of these years just for it to create one revolution. We will not be alive to experience Pluto in every single sign. So it is significant that you are moving into essentially a period in which you will experience a Pluto opposition. Now, I'm of the belief that transits are portals, and they do initiate us into a higher level of awareness and a higher level of wisdom. So as I get into these Pluto themes, continue to hold that vision around all of these energies playing out in the most empowering, the most aligned way possible. I truly do believe that every single time that we get to the other side of a transit, it's almost like we unlock a new level of our own actualization. So just holding that in mind as I chat you through this energy. So with Pluto and Aquarius, I have a lot of thoughts about this transit collectively. I'll link the video above about it. But what I want to highlight for you, Leo, is that this is entering the sector of relationships and one-to-one partnerships. The planet Pluto is about power. And it's not about power that is just given, it's power that's earned. It's the sort of power that we have when we are able to rebuild ourselves, when we are able to be resilient, when we are able to rise up from our own ashes, a more empowered, resilient version of ourselves. And so that can be an energetic that you are navigating again from now to 2043. And the energy of Pluto is very much this once you know, you can't unknow sort of energy. In that with Pluto, like I said, transits are portals, and the Pluto portal kind of takes us into a much more realer version of the world because Pluto goes deep. So with Pluto transiting your opposite sign, you could be experiencing certain information about people within your world being exposed. And again, not being able to look at them quite the same way because Pluto goes deep. So there can be secrets that are revealed or information that's been beneath the surface that bubbles to the surface. Again, nothing scary, but Pluto is transformation. And once we know something, we can't unknow it. Our only option once we know something is to decide how it is that we want to proceed forward. So there may be a secret that comes out about somebody within your universe or something that you find out. And again, Pluto energy puts us on the growth path. Because when you are faced with this information, there's no other option besides transform the connection or essentially burn it down, like end the connection or evolve with it, right? Like Pluto is very much the energy around we can either let go or be dragged. Like the future is calling you with Pluto and Aquarius. And once you know something, you can't unknow it. And once something is revealed or comes to the surface, all you can do is either decide this information is a deal breaker for me, I've got to release this connection, or you can decide, okay, this information is here, this is who it is that you are, and this is how we are going to transform and evolve forward. It's sort of like that energy when you get on a plane, which is a fun little foreshadow because you guys do have some travel energy coming in this year. But you know when you're in line to get on the plane, everyone's kind of in single file, and you're at that moment when you're just about to board the plane, right? And you have to decide whether you get on the plane, right, or you're not on the plane. You can't have one foot in both ways, right? The plane's going, Pluto's going. And it's asking for transformation. So you can either decide around, I don't like where this plane is going. I don't like this information that was revealed. I'm not going to get on the plane any longer. I'm going to release this connection. Or you can choose to transform and kind of surrender into the unknown because that's what Pluto asks of us. Now, some of you could experience this within your intimate relationships around your partner's just going through something because Pluto is the planet of death. Again, nothing scary. Your partner could just be navigating grief, and grief shows up within many different textures with many different nuances. Like, yes, it can be grieving a person, but it also can be grieving a certain period of life. Grieving who it is that you were before you knew this information. Grieving who it is that you were before life asked you to transform within a new way. So with Pluto here, it can sometimes represent what our partner, with this transit, it can sometimes represent what our partner is going through. And you could see shades of that color your experience around your partner could be low-key going through a midlife crisis or navigating something really intense. And again, Pluto in the 7th, in its highest vibration, asks for us to transform our connection, to evolve. You and your partner could be initiating on a major life-changing decision during this transit, like something that's really going to transform the trajectory of your journey and of your relationship itself. So I don't mean to scare you with Pluto energy and say that everybody's going to break up during this time. It just asks for transformation. It just asks for growth. And Pluto energy really asks you, are you getting on the plane and going to see where it goes? You might go somewhere different. You might go outside of your comfort zone, or are you going to walk away from the plane? Because Pluto is the planet of endings. And so I want to let you know if there's been a painful cycle within your marriage or within your relationship, Pluto energy can be asking you to get to the root of it because Pluto is the planet of psychology. So a lot of times during Pluto transits, there can be a nudge to go to couples counseling, to start going to therapy. There can be a cosmic nudge to get to the root of where these psychological patterns are taking hold and to evolve beyond them. And like I said, transits in the 7th house can sometimes represent shades of experience that are present within your partner's journey. And with Pluto here, your partner could be going through a existential crisis, like contemplating what it is that means something to them. They could be transforming quite a bit, getting more into essentially doing the work and wanting to live for what matters. Because I mentioned this briefly, but I want to go deeper into it, in that Pluto is the planet of death. Okay, no fear. It's not saying anybody is going to pass away this year. But when it comes to Pluto transit, sometimes it just kind of plunges our mind into a more intense space where we really start to contemplate, okay, time's going by, my mortality is slipping away, you know, I have a limited amount of time on this planet. What means something to me? And sometimes you could observe that your partner is like waking up to their own mortality or to their lack of time, or like what it is that they want to do. And again, as your partner transforms, that creates new opportunities for you to transform along with them, should you take the invitation. And I do want to say, Leo, again, this journey will play out until 2043. You do not necessarily have to take the invitation if it is out of integrity with yourself, because Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. And sometimes we can go through a death and rebirth within our relationship, whether it's within the context of the relationship, evolving ourselves, or even releasing the relationship altogether, if you do feel like that is appropriate for you and for your journey. Because sometimes Pluto can sort of get us to the core around where what it is that we're wanting within a relationship is transforming. And Pluto is in your opposite sign, Aquarius. Now, I want to bring to the surface, Leo, that you are a very warm sign. You're ruled by the sun. You govern the heart space. You are loving. You pour into those that you love. And with Pluto in your opposite sign, Aquarius, Aquarius lives a lot more from the head rather than the heart. And so with Pluto and Aquarius, sometimes there could be an energy around feeling more detached from your partner, or feeling like they're more cold, or maybe even in extreme circumstances with Pluto and Aquarius, they're wanting to open up the relationship or do something unconventional within it. Like there could be a certain energy of coldness that you are feeling within your relationship. Again, not every lion will experience that shade of it, but you can start to see parts of it. And again, it's not saying that you need to walk away from the relationship altogether, but with Pluto, really lean into transforming, really lean into stating what it is that you need, how it is that you are feeling, and how you guys can evolve together. Sometimes there can be an energy of coldness or feeling detached or a little bit removed from your partner, and Pluto energy can be this call for deep intimacy. Pluto goes deep, okay? And it's really getting to the core, to the root of both of your psyches and how it is that you two are evolving together. There can be certain contemplations that the two of you are making during this time around what is our legacy? What do we want our life to be about? How can we continue to transform on the same page? Now, some of you can feel that your partner is being more cold and removed during this time. I do want to highlight Pluto does have some other sinister undertones that I just want to prep you on. If you're single, you're just going to want to be really mindful if you do see any kind of warning signs of this sort of behavior, is that Pluto can be a very obsessive, jealous energy. So just being very, very cautious of where it is that people that you are connecting with and dating are exhibiting the shadow side of this Plutonian energy, which is your partner trying to control you, trying to tell you what to do, trying to manipulate you psychologically, okay? That is not behavior that you need to be around, that you need to be dating, that you need to be spending time with. Nothing scary, just important to be very mindful of those experiences. And like I said at the very beginning, I am of the belief that transits are portals. And I will say, if you've ever spent time with a narcissist or with anybody who is psychologically manipulative, and you know, Leo, like I said at the beginning, transits are portals. And Pluto energy can be this energy of grief. And again, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily losing someone, but there can be a grieving period of who it is that you were before you encountered somebody within your universe. Now, I'm like so hopeful that nobody relates to this. Like sometimes when I'm sharing certain messages, I'm like, gosh, I really hope that there's not someone out there who resonates with this, because it just makes me sad that people have to go through this. But it's on my heart to share this right now, is that if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist or been around narcissistic bosses, like this is the sector of one-to-one connections within every shade. I know I'm talking a lot about romantic relationships, but if you've been in the orbit of a narcissist or somebody who is psychologically psychologically manipulative, it does take something from you. That's the truth of the matter. It's not that you get jaded, but you do get discerning. And especially with you, Leo, you're so warm, you're so heart-centered. You love because that's who it is that you are. You can't help but to pour into people. And it can be such a rude awakening when you realize that not everybody has a heart like yours. It is actually dangerous to navigate this world thinking that everybody has a heart like yours, because not everybody has a heart like yours. And sometimes when you do encounter more sinister types, whether it's someone that you work with or a romantic partner or a friend or what have you, there is a grieving that takes place of the version of you that thought everybody was like you, who didn't realize that there are people who are malignant and malicious, right? I just remember the first time that I came into the orbit with someone like this, I couldn't comprehend. It was truly like cognitive dissonance because I had never encountered anyone like that before. I was honestly very naive and very sheltered. And to me, this energy with Pluto in the 7th house, there can be a grieving around who it was that you were before you entered a certain relationship or were around a certain person. Because I think about the person that I was before that experience, and there are shades of her that I miss, right? I miss how she trusted everyone. I miss that she saw the good in everyone. I miss how open she was. But I also know that I'm wiser on the other end of it. I know that I am shrewder on the other end of it. I know that I will not allow someone into my orbit like that any longer. I didn't know that then. So sometimes with Pluto energy, it can make us grieve like who it was that we were before a relationship, right? Even if it's not as extreme as somebody who's a psychological manipulator and a narcissist and all that, there could have been a certain transformation of your relationship and you're missing either a prior shade of that connection or like who it was that you were before that connection. And again, Pluto energy, it makes us see a realer version of the world. Like for me, after realizing that there's people like that, who move like that, who take pleasure in causing harm, it made me so much more shrewd, so much more discerning with my time and energy, and honestly smarter overall. And I do feel like that was a very essential part of my journey for me to be able to do what it is that I do, because I feel like I connect with a lot of people within my one-to-ones who have had similar experiences. That's the thing about Pluto, is that it's earned strength. It's not the stories that we can tell by just reading about it. It's like, no, I had to essentially self-destruct in order to rebirth myself, to get to the other side, to be able to relate to people in that way. So however it is that you relate to that, sorry to interject my stuff into your reading, but I just feel like with Pluto in the 7th house, there can be a certain either missing of who it is that you are, but also honoring, hey, that was an experience that made me have to dig deep and almost like fight for my life in order to rebirth myself to the other side. And yes, I can miss who it is that I was, but I also know the version of me that's coming out of this Pluto transit is so much wiser than the one who went into it. And Leo, you are such a loving energy. You deserve to filter that love towards people who can meet you within that and not plunge you down into the depths that sometimes Pluto energy can indicate. Not everybody is going to get into a relationship like that. Okay, please don't stress. Pluto also can be this energy of depth and intimacy and transformation, so please don't fret. But I do want you to be discerning, particularly if you are single, of people who exhibit Plutonian red flags, people who are controlling, people who try to tell you what to do, to psychologically manipulate you. Very important to be on guard around that behavior. Just because those experiences do make you wiser doesn't mean that you necessarily need to have that experience. Again, I feel like it was important for my journey. Perhaps if that's the energy that's in your rear view mirror, perhaps you can observe how shades of that were important for your story. But again, I'm not saying that every single Leo is going to embark upon that from now until 2043. All I'm saying is if you are single, be aware. And if you are single, let's talk more about that, because I've talked a lot about being in a relationship and how Pluto energy can essentially cause it to transform. For some of you who are going through a breakup, sometimes Pluto can indicate power struggles. You could even observe, even if you're not going through a breakup, shades of power struggles alive within you and your business partnerships, you and your current relationship. Pluto can be that kind of battle for dominance sometimes within the lower vibration. I also want to bring forward some more manifestations if you are going into this transit single. single. So what you are looking for within a partner can utterly transform from now until 2043. And this is good news for the Leos who do feel like they've been stuck in a rut of sorts. If you feel like you're dating the same person over and over again, partnering with the same person over and over again, and not thrilled with the results that you've been getting, Pluto energy can ask you to go deep to your psyche and like really ask, what is it that I'm looking for? And what makes me drawn to this type of person? And how can I flip the script? Okay, because not to get too deep into it, and I'm not a psychological professional, but I do know that oftentimes we select relationships based on the relationship of our more difficult parent, or the parent that we had a more difficult relationship with. And that may be the case of what it is that you are navigating currently, or there just can be psychological roots of some childhood trauma that you're trying to fix through the context of relationships. And this can be a time that you're transforming what it is that you are looking for within your relationships. Some of you are grieving a relationship. You are letting go of not just the relationship, but also, when we consider that Pluto opposes your Leo placements, also the version of you that that relationship was attached to. Because even though the sector of the chart that's going through this transformation is around relationships, it's opposing the house of self. So it's like, as we connect with new individuals, new parts of ourselves get revealed. And sometimes there can be energy around grieving who it is that we used to be, as I highlighted, or grieving a past relationship of ours and who it was that we were within it. And on the higher vibration of this, Leo, you could be dating people who are powerful. People who are powerful in politics, people who are powerful in fame. You could be connecting with powerful people. And again, even outside of romantic relationships, your clients can be powerful people. You could be partnering with powerful people. And just like transits are portals into new attributes of ourself and new chapters of our journey, people are also portals who awaken new components of ourselves and new parts of our journey. So also with Pluto in the 7th house, you could be finding out your power through the context of interacting with people. You could be really elevating the people that you are spending time with. You can find that you're feeling called to transform by the caliber of people that you are surrounding yourself with. Like, a lot of your blessings this year, Leo, which we will go more into, are around people. And it's like, if you are the most inspiring, most successful person in the room, this is the time to get into some new rooms, Leo. Get into some rooms with people who inspire you to up-level, who inspire you to elevate, who inspire you to transform. That's the Plutonian energy. But again, Leo, Pluto energy all boils down to how it is that we are willing to let go and just surrender into the future, surrender into evolution. So you are at the precipice of this journey. And the Leos who will feel this energy active within their universe this year, 2024, will be those who have Leo placements between 0 to 2 degrees. You will have a Pluto transit this year, and these themes can be highlighted. I do want to just briefly say that Pluto will not be in Aquarius the entirety of the year. It starts the year in Capricorn. It enters Aquarius January 20th, 2024, and then it will re-enter Capricorn for September, October, November, and then it settles in for good in November. And get nice and comfy with Pluto chilling there, because it's there until 2043, Leo. So Leo, in continuing to paint the picture around what you will experience within 2023, next we are going to transition into Where's My Ruler, which is when we take the planet that governs you within the birth chart, which is the sun, if you are a Leo, to figure out what are the major themes and emphases of your year ahead. And when we talk about the sun, it's very consistent, it's very reliable. We know that the sun will enter every single sign this year, as it does every single year. We know that the sun never stays retrograde. It's consistent. It rises, it shines, it sets. It's very consistent. And it's important to highlight, Leo, you are very consistent as well. Consistent with your love, which is why that Pluto energy is asking you to transform connections if you feel like that energy is being taken for granted in any shade that's coming up for you. But because your ruling planet is so consistent, this section is less so about charting every single sign and ingress, because it'll enter the same signs as it does every single year at around the same time that it does every single year. I want to use this section to talk about the eclipses, because something that you may not know, Leo, you may know this, but you being ruled by the sun, you are more affected by eclipses, because what are eclipses but alignments between the sun, the moon, and the nodes, of course. So let's tell the story of the nodes and the eclipses within your chart in the year ahead. So Leo, throughout the entirety of the year, North Node will be transiting your fellow fire sign, Aries. Ooh, when I say you were tapping into your power, Leo, I feel it. I just got warm just talking about it. For you, this puts emphasis on the 9th house of the natal chart, which one thing I want to highlight that I see coming in for you in 2024 is you are trusting your gut. You are trusting your intuition. So that's why I gave that kind of cosmic caution about Pluto in the 7th house around if something feels off, if you catch a red flag and the logical part of your brain is like, oh, it's not a big deal. Let's give this person another chance. Trust your gut. Like with North Node going into the 9th house, you're being asked to use the compass of your own soul. Like, I am my own compass now. And other people can be telling you, oh, you're too picky. You should give them another chance. This is an important year to go based on what feels right for you, because I want to let you know, Leo, you have to chart your own course. Other people do not have the keys and the codes and the tools to get you towards where it is that you want to and need to go. Because if you listen to everybody else, you'll build their dreams and not your own. And with North Node in the 9th house, it's important to set off on a quest. 9th house is that quest energy around where it is that you are feeling called to show up. The instincts that are inspiring you to action, the big picture that you are feeling called to build. Because I want to let you know, Leo, again, there's a lot of blessings that are coming in through relationships with Jupiter ingressing into your 11th house a little later in the year. But with North Node in Aries in 9th house, you need to build and trust that guidance system of your own soul. That needs to be your compass. You have to be intentional with what feedback and opinions and even advice that you accept from others this year. Because like I said, with Pluto in your 7th house, sometimes there can be overbearing types or domineering types who come into your orbit. And it's so important with North Node in Aries in the 9th house that you are using discernment. Again, it's not that you're just going to have these, control freaks within your orbit, but the energy of North Node in Aries, it's trusting yourself as your own compass. Because the times that you are most allowing of people who have these sinister intentions are times when your defenses are weakened, when you do feel lost. And I want you to exercise that discernment even outside of romantic relationships, in religious institutions that you are a part of, in spiritual practices that you enroll in. Be discerning with who it is that you select as mentors. If something feels off, it probably is. And with South Node and Libra in the 3rd house, some of you are releasing your tendency to go based on what makes sense to others. And this is a year that you sort of have to dull the noise in order to tune into what are my instincts saying. Because like I said, this is a fellow fire sign and fire just burns. For you, you're trusting your intuition. You know you have it, but you're trusting it. It can't be rationalized a lot of times, but you gotta just go based on what feels right to you. If you're like, Haley, I wanna trust my intuition. I wanna feel more tapped into the divine, but I'm not sure how. I see a lot of Leos are stepping into a form of spiritual wisdom or truth seeking that is going to be very healing for you, Leo. I see this with North Node aligning with Chiron, the wounded healer, in March. Some of you within 2024, you are looking for answers. You are looking for truth, and a lot of you are going to find it, because for a lot of you, there's certain illusions that are being cut through. Like I said, Pluto energy makes us go deep. It really makes us contemplate, what is it that I want out of this experience? It can take us out of illusion. It can take us out of distortion. It initiates us into a more real interpretation of the world, a more deeper, sometimes darker interpretation, but also you have to honor the shrewdness of the mindset that Pluto does embody. It's important with Pluto, oftentimes it can plunge us into existentialism or even nihilism, this energy around what matters, nothing matters. But I want to let you know that when you're in that moment around feeling lost and being unsure, oftentimes those are the moments that you are searching for wisdom and searching for knowledge, because Pluto energy can awaken a more intense interpretation of our world, of our universe, that can make us start to ask ourselves bigger questions. And with the energy of 9th house, it's like, what is it that I believe in? And with the energy of Chiron transiting here, maybe some of you have experienced certain wounds around not trusting your intuition or not feeling like you can trust your intuition. Maybe your intuition was trying to tell you something and you felt like you were just caught up in illusion, and that Pluto energy kind of like made you wake up to a realer version of the world. And with Chiron, sometimes we have to move through energies around where it is that we feel like we betrayed ourselves by not listening to our intuition, by not trusting our instincts. But again, I want to let you know, Chiron is not just where we're wounded, it's also where we are learning to heal. So you are healing the more you trust your instincts. And I really see being this very fierce defender of yourself, of your light, Leo. You are the sun. And I see for some of you, you can greatly benefit from a spiritual mentor with discernment, okay? With discernment, trust your instinct, or being around a spiritual community of some sort. Some of you could be going to school, and that could be something that's awakening to this broader interpretation of the world. You could be traveling with people. I just see that with Chiron sextiling Jupiter a little later in the year. October, to be exact, would be a great time for like a healing trip, whether it's by yourself or around a community that feels like-minded, or maybe making friends while you are traveling. Like, you're definitely in the seeker's mindset, Leo. You're definitely looking for answers. And I want to let you know, they're only answers that you can find. Other people cannot give you the tools and the codes. Yes, be open to spiritual mentors and professors and people who can guide you towards wisdom. But again, the quest is yours. You only have certain mentors who could guide you towards certain steps, but you need to create the quest. You need to have discernment with where it is that you are searching and seeking information. And with the energy of North Node aligning with Chiron, you can be working through certain vulnerabilities. Like maybe for some of you where you felt this Chiron energy is fear around getting out of your comfort zone, maybe even fear of traveling. Maybe there's embedded wounds within you having not gone to college, not having a traditional academic background, and either deciding to go back or choosing a different route. There can be Chironian themes that you are playing out within ninth house. But again, it's not just where we're wounded, it's also where we're healing. So just observing how you are being guided this year to get out of your comfort zone, to travel new places, whether that's physically booking that trip, right? Or even traveling mentally, traveling spiritually. There's this desire to figure out what means something to you. And not everybody has the same path, Leo. A lot of times I'll meet with clients and they're like, just tell me exactly what I need to do. And I'm like, all I can tell you is what I can illuminate at this step in the journey. Because if you were told a list around, you need to do this and learn this, it's your path, Leo. You're stepping into your power around taking charge and taking sovereignty of your path, because you are your own compass. Your soul needs to be your greatest teacher of all. Again, there's lots of people who are coming in to help you. There's people who can widen your perspective, but at the end of the day, discernment is necessary. You're facing your fears. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're traveling and adventuring to new places. So this story will be punctuated and accelerated around the eclipses. So the first eclipse of the year lands on March 25th. It's a lunar eclipse in Libra on the South Node. This will likely fall within the third house, which has to do with siblings, day-to-day communication, gossip. And I just see with this eclipse, there can be a certain nudge within you around no longer feeling aligned with superficial conversations. Like there could be gossip that comes your way that you're like, in this wide and wonderful world, why are you telling me this? Like, does this matter? You could even observe shades of this within your connections or within your friendships or your immediate surroundings or within your siblings, within extended family, around just contemplating, does this truly matter? Within the big picture of life, does this truly matter? And sometimes it could be uncomfortable to be within the in-between around being in conversations where you no longer are getting value out of the conversation. Like, oh my gosh, I used to love to go to this bar and just gossip with my friend. Why am I so bored now? But again, this North Node in Aries in the ninth house may have you wanting to contemplate bigger, more profound philosophical truths or spiritual truths. And a lot of the day-to-day and the small talk might just feel shallow. You can even experience this as it relates to social media. The world feels very noisy. And you need to dull the noise of it in order to listen to your soul, because the soul is the most accurate compass that you have, but it's very quiet. So there's this energy with the lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th where certain information is surfacing, or there might just be certain epiphanies that are surfacing around wanting to let go a social media platform or just certain threads of conversation, or maybe even just a certain depth within conversation that you're like, I don't want to spend my sacred finite time on this planet talking about what Margaret wore to work yesterday. Like, there's just other concepts that I want to contemplate. And if this will not be the case for everybody, but like I said, this is the house of siblings and extended family members. And with the energy of Libra, to a big picture level, collectively, we are being asked to release, essentially keeping the peace, keeping appearances. So if there have been certain connections within your universe and you've just been trying to keep the peace and not talk about the deeper level topics that need to be talked about, with the lunar eclipse in Libra, there can be a releasing around just wanting to keep the peace, wanting to harmonize in order to really investigate and dive deeper into these underlying truths. Then the next eclipse is on April 8th. It is a solar eclipse in Aries on the North Node. North Node singles gain, and this is a solar eclipse, so there's a start of something new. And Aries is asking you to remind yourself of your courage codes, Leo. You are strong, Leo. You're the strength card in tarot. You are strong. And I want you to be open to getting out of your comfort zone this year. And the solar eclipse could almost be this energy around ready or not, you're ready to fly out of the nest, right? Like Pluto energy kind of pushes us onto the plane sometimes, right? Like kind of forces us to initiate into the next chapter. And there can be certain energy within you around, am I ready for this? Am I ready to solo travel? Am I ready to go get my degree? Am I ready to go do this ayahuasca ceremony? Wherever your journey is taking you, Leo, am I ready? And the solar eclipse energy is saying, yeah, and you have the courage within you. And some of you can be feeling called to stand up for yourself, to advocate for yourself in some sort of way in regards to something that you hold deeply. Like ninth house is conversations to a higher level. Third house is more small talk. So for some of you, you might be having conversations that are uncomfortable, like with the Aries energy, being very direct, being honest with yourself and being honest with others, and not wanting to entertain people within their distortion or within their lies or within their superficiality. Like you might be an energy around just really wanting to call it like you see it to a certain degree, and really wanting to speak up on the philosophical or big picture concepts and topics that are important to you, even if they are Aries-like, which is unfiltered or messy or what have you. And then we have an eclipse October 2nd. It is a solar eclipse in Libra. So solar eclipse indicates a new start, but it's on the South Node, which is a new start wrapped up into an ending. So that can accelerate that story that I was telling you around wanting to feel called with certain calibers of conversations that you're having. Some of you can be feeling called to spend less time on social media and like really be going out to live your life. Some of you can be letting go of a certain communication style around telling people what it is that they want to hear, and even people pleasing. There can be kind of a letting go of that. And again, it's a new start that's disguised as an ending. Yes, you might be letting go of something, but so long as you are going to where it is that you're going with integrity, which is what you're being guided to prioritize, you can't do life wrong. I feel like that's important to repeat again for you, Leo. You cannot do life wrong. Like when you have North Node in the ninth house, you are going on an adventure, Leo. And even if you take that trip and it's not exactly as you thought it would be, even if you learn this new spiritual modality and then you realize you don't want to pull it into your career, these are not wastes of time. Like every single leg of the journey teaches you something and awakens something within you. And with the energy of North Node in Aries, I'm just seeing that you're wanting to live life through this more raw and messy and truly alive way. That's how you're wanting to live. It's very visceral. It's very alive. And being alive can be messy, right? We make mistakes. There are certain experiences that don't work out, but no matter what, you learn. And that's the lens by which you're viewing your experiences this year. Now, you'll notice I only talked about 3 eclipses. We do have a 4th eclipse. It's on September 17th. It is a lunar eclipse in Pisces. For you, this lands in the 8th house. And you might be saying, Haley, Comet, don't typically eclipses land in where the North Node and the South Node is transiting? And to that I say absolutely, but there are occasions like the eclipse in September in which the North Node is still in Aries, but the lunation lands within a distance of the North Node that it technically conjoins, even though the North Node does not enter Pisces until next year. That eclipse on September 17th is giving a little preview around where our North Node in Pisces work will be. Now for you, Leo, you can expect reveals, perhaps even emotional reveals, with it being a Pisces lunar eclipse. Emotional reveals around what within your life is transforming and what you are letting go of. Because when you have Pluto transits on the horizon, it's a growth path, right? And to be on a growth path means continually allowing the spirit of what's coming in and what's departing and trusting in that rhythm of life. And so with that lunar eclipse in the 8th house, it can be making you have to come to terms with where it is that you are transforming, grieving the old version of yourself. For some of you, there could have been shared resources or some sort of dispute, whether it's alimony, child support, and the eclipse could also further that story along in some sort. For some of you, it's an important time with shared partnerships, merged assets, you and your spouse's income. It's important to really take a look at what is going in and what is going out, because I do want to highlight Neptune is transiting through this sector. And so sometimes that can be the energy around romanticizing or idealizing or not seeing clearly. So it's not a time to just trust that your finances are being taken care of by your business manager. Like, nothing's scary. I just want you to have discernment. Like, really look at your accounts more frequently with Neptune and Saturn transiting this sector. And the lunar eclipse can sometimes bring reveals around that. And so just some themes to look out for. But that story will be more so unfolded as we navigate 2025. And so Leo, you may be asking, Haley Comet, you said earlier something about being in the spotlight, you said something about success, you said something about shining. Let's talk more about career for Leos within 2024, because it is a very prosperous year for you career-wise. And it's important to highlight as I go into this section, I'm about to talk about Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and blessings and opportunities. But I want to let you know, Leo, that when it comes to transits, there are lucky transits, but it typically doesn't just burst into our house and give us the job of our dreams, okay? When I talk about Jupiter, I'm saying the cosmic conditions are right for you to reap positive results, but it's still important for you to take hold of those cosmic conditions. I like to think of it as the Jupiter transit is the soil, and the soil within 2024 is fertile around this arena of life, but you have to plant the seed. You have to water the seed. You have to nurture and allow that seed to grow into the heights of what it is capable of. So with that being said, I want to let you know that within the first portion of the year, you can be observing a lot is quickening for you around career. This is because Jupiter is transiting through the sector of career, public persona, and reputation. Now, for some Leos, like I said, you're very consistent. You're a fixed sign. You're intentional. You work hard at what it is that you want. And with Jupiter being in Taurus, some of you who have been diligently a steward of something, working towards something, you can start to see the payoffs. Those seeds are blossoming, okay? And it could be more busy. Maybe that's why you're experiencing the transformation within your relationship, is maybe your work is taking off and your relationship sort of has to transform as a result. Maybe you used to take more on in the home, and now that you got this promotion, you guys are having to transform how it is that you two relate and handle the partnership itself. That can be a manifestation. Some of you may find that with Jupiter and Taurus, you are starting to get more eyeballs on what it is that you are doing. You are getting a promotion. Again, it could be asking you to level up in a certain essence. And maybe that's where you're experiencing this Pluto energy, is you're feeling called to step into this new powerful role. And there could be certain imposter syndrome within you around, can I do this? Am I ready for this? And you can. This is an important year around stepping into your leadership and taking humanity into the future. That's part of the initiation that having a Pluto transit is about, is helping humanity evolve and transform and allowing your beliefs and desires for humanity on the macro to show up within the micro of your leadership, of your impact. And so if you have your own business, you can find that there's a surge of orders. If you work at a company, you could get a promotion. If you have just graduated, you can find you are entering the workforce. I want to let you know, Leo, that the conditions are right if you do want to change careers, because Jupiter is about freedom. So yes, it brings blessings to where it transits, but sometimes there can be energy around you've been diligent around working towards something and you're not feeling valued. You're not even seeing the value in what it is that you're doing. Jupiter is about freedom and Uranus is about change. And so some Leos can be wanting to shake things up within career. You feel like you can do your job in your sleep. You're ready for something new. You've been in your comfort zone. And maybe this Pluto energy is awakening you to, hey, my time on this earth is finite and I want to build something that means something to me. There can be an inner restlessness that you feel in the beginning portion of the year around wanting to do something different. And if that is the case, around April would be a great time to put out feelers because that's when Jupiter and Uranus align. And when Jupiter and Uranus align, Uranus being the planet of unpredictability and novelty, there can be random new opportunities that fall in your lap. And one thing I want to prep you on, Leo, while Jupiter is the grand benefic, Uranus is shocks and surprises, which sometimes can be beneficial around, oh wow, I randomly did a TikTok and it went viral and now I'm making all this money and I have all this notoriety and I was not anticipating it at all. That could be Uranus energy. But it can also be like, I'm so bored at my job and then I just randomly get let go. And what's important to hone in on this year is really understanding that the universe is working for you and not against you. And sometimes with Uranus transits, it doesn't give us what we wanted. Like maybe we wanted more freedom, but it arrived in an unexpected surprise around being let go. And we're like, no, universe, like not that. But Uranus really snaps us out of complacency. It really makes us disrupt any fixed grooves that we've been in. It shakes things up. And so just knowing that if something happens around career in April, it's likely Jupiter and Uranus wanting you to shake things up in regards to career. Like I said, this can be major up levels, major visibility, going viral, being seen, maximum visibility, maximum leadership, Leo. And for some of you, you could be stepping into a role as like a humanitarian or wanting to help other humans liberate themselves or empower themselves. You could be really in this role within the public eye as the awakener. It's important as it relates to your branding and how it is that you are showing up within the public eye this year, Leo, that you know that you are not here to be cookie cutter. And I know you know that because you're the sun. You can't help but shine in your own authentic, radiant way. But with Uranus at the top of your chart and Jupiter aligning with it, you can gain by being a little weird, by coloring outside of the lines, by rebelling against fixed structures. And you know, 7th house also has to do with general public, and that's where Pluto is. So other people might have an intense reaction to you, and you just need to shine regardless. Like I said, regardless of how much I complain that it's too hot outside, the sun still rises, shines, and sets because that's what it does, that's who it is. And you are being called upon to shine in the ways that feel authentic and true to you because that's who you are, because that's what you do. And so with the energy of Uranus, yeah, we could be showing up in weird ways. We could be stepping into an unconventional career path. We could make something new, invent something new. We could go viral. There could just be random pivots in the journey where it's like, this is not where I expected things to go, but just be open to the deviation. The cosmos is keeping you on your toes, right? And know that in regards to how it is that you're meant to be seen, embrace the weird, embrace the eccentricity. Your rewards await you as you do. For some of you, I see because Jupiter will sextile Neptune, which is in the house of shared resources, investors, people who want to invest within you. There also can be unexpected ways that you are maximizing income, Leo. So if you are a business owner, use the beginning portion of the year to really think critically about your finances and the money that's coming in the ways that people can support you. Like if you were to go viral, if you and your business were to go viral, get media exposure, like are you ready? Have you built your business in a way where you can scale? Because your time and energy is finite, right? If you're a service provider, you can only offer a certain amount of services every single week. It's tied to your time. So start to think outside of the box. Uranus energy is about thinking outside of the box. It's in Taurus, thinking outside of the box when it comes to your money. And with it sextiling Neptune, really begin to contemplate what are some other ways that people can support me and my work? What are some scalable ways that people can support me in my work? Where maybe it's the same time invested, but there's a likelihood where, yes, maybe it'll reach, 5 people, maybe it could reach 1,000 people. Like you have to think outside of the box in order to scale. I definitely want to say if you've been contemplating launching something new within your business with Jupiter and Uranus, this would be a really aligned time to be innovative. Like I really feel like with Jupiter or Uranus, we're going to see a brand new set of people become millionaires because this is like an energy that thinks outside of the box and can experience gains through viewing things differently. So whether it's within your own business or within your workplace, be open to innovate, to try new things, to disrupt. That's what this energy is giving. And I do see this rebellious spirit awakening within you within 2024, particularly as it relates to authority figures. Uranus can make you really feel called to shake things up, and you can be less inclined to want your bosses or authority figures to tell you what to do. And with Uranus in the 10th house, and for a lot of you having your Uranus transit, it can make you want to rebel. And based on where Uranus is transiting within the chart, you could want to rebel against your boss, against your authority figure. Again, you can be in a certain groove within career, but with Uranus there's this restlessness around not wanting to be told what to do because you're a leader, you're not a follower. And there could be a certain desire to just want to rebel or even kind of like lash out against the status quo of your workplace. That can be a potential manifestation of Uranus, especially if you have Leo placements between 19 to 27 degrees. That means you'll have a Uranus transit within 2024. So this call to change, to rebel, to disrupt, to innovate can be even louder for you. Then on May 25th, Jupiter will enter Gemini, which for you is your 11th house. Now, 11th house governs large audiences. So the 10th house is like the what you are known for, it's reputation, it's career. 11th house is the who you reach. It's your colleagues, it's your network, it's your following. And with Jupiter and Gemini in the latter portion of the year, this is a time in which you will be extra magnetic as it relates to large audiences. So some Leos could be running for office this year. I see that with Jupiter trining Pluto as well. Some Leos could be blowing up on social media. Some Leos can be making new friends. Like I'm really seeing this social butterfly energy taking place at the latter portion of the year where you're getting out of your comfort zone. We see that with North Node in Aries, and with Jupiter in the 11th house, you're wanting to connect with new people. Like I said, people are portals. Just interacting and making new friends shines light to new parts of ourselves. So get out of your comfort zone. If you are the most successful person in the room, the most intelligent person in the room, it's time to get into a new room. Like with Jupiter, where the conditions are the most fertile are around growing a following. Okay, like I said, Jupiter, Uranus, earlier in the year, you could go viral. Do you have systems in place for you to handle going viral? Do you have ways to capture that data? Do you have offerings to direct them to? Okay. And with Jupiter in 11th house, it's about continuing to nurture that audience, continue to contemplate ways that you can continue to grow your following and your reach. Now, for Leos who are not on social media, with Jupiter in the 11th house, invest energy in your professional network. If you are looking for a job, like I said, a lot of Leos are going to change a career path, or they're going to get a dream job. They're going to change the path that they were on to move into something that's much more true to self. With Jupiter and Gemini in the latter portion of the year, this is a time to network, to nurture your community. Benefits and opportunities will be coming to you from people. So be intentional around nurturing your LinkedIn audiences, going to happy hours, going to mixers, being around people who are like-minded. Jupiter is in Gemini. Gemini is, the mind. It's a Mercury sign. Like this is an energy around being inspired by the people around you, learning from people who are inspiring for you. Now, I do want to tell you, Leo, that this is not the best news for the collective because Jupiter is in its detriment in Gemini, but I will say Jupiter is bringing gains as it relates to people, audiences, and also 11th house has to do with hopes and dreams for the future, both our future as well as humanity's future, which I really feel like some Leos are like stepping up. Like you have a heart-centered mission, you are a light worker, you are someone who really wants to do good within the world, and I just see you stepping into that. I don't know if it's politics, I don't know if you're saving the planet. A lot of you can have a call towards environmentalism, just with the energy of Taurus within the 10th house. Some of you could be called to infuse that within occult studies, just with the energy in the 8th and the 9th. But again, I do see that you are dreaming of the future, about what's possible for yourself, but also what's possible for humanity. And a lot of you are being called to be the leader. Again, you're not a follower, you're a leader. So you have to be that change that you want to see within the world. And outside of humanity's future, I also want to let you know you are more magnetic to your hopes and dreams. And your hopes and dreams, your desires, your manifestations, they desire you as much as you desire them. Okay, it moves both ways. Jupiter in the 11th house can make you a magnet towards what it is that you want. But what I want to highlight is you will be the most magnetic if you're honoring this Gemini energy, learning, investing in word of mouth marketing, networking, communicating, sharing of your messages and ideas, writing, public speaking. These can all be avenues for you to reap all that Jupiterian luck. Now, I do want to highlight that Jupiter, while it is in your 11th house, it is not without challenges. I already highlighted it's not necessarily comfy in Gemini. So there's some blockages as it relates to the full benefit of Jupiterian luck. And adding to that, in August and December, Jupiter in your 11th house will square Saturn within the 8th house. And I see this manifesting for the Leos in a couple different ways, but before before I get into it, let's set up what Saturn in the 8th house is all about. So some of you are going through major shakeups within your relationships, like I said, with Pluto in the 7th house, and with Saturn in the 8th, there can be a division of your shared resources. Like some Leos can be going through a divorce or going through kind of like straightening out things as it relates to inheritances or alimony or child support or things of that nature. There can be certain support that was afforded to you that with Saturn it's being limited, or it's coming after time or after a lot of effort having been put into it. But also with Saturn in the 8th house, there can be having to kind of come face to face with how things are changing and transforming. No fear at all, Leo, but I do want to let you know 8th house is the house of death. And so with Saturn in the 8th house, there can be this realness, right? Like I said, a lot of Leos are getting real around, man, my time on this planet is limited. I need to do what it is that I want to do with this time. And like I said, with Saturn in the 8th house, this also has to do with shared resources. So even if you're not going through a divorce or anything of that nature, with Saturn in the 8th house, there can be certain pressure on your shared finances. Your spouse's business may feel a little bit slower, or you may have to exercise discernment as it relates to you and your business partner's finances. Or I just recently had a client who had this transit and she was preparing to take her company public. So it's like it took a lot of due diligence. That's the energy of Saturn in order to get the resources ready for that. So that can also be a nudge to get your finances in order. Definitely not a time to fudge your numbers on taxes, Leo, okay? 8th house is about taxes. It may not be the most opportune time for a loan. It might take more time than you imagined it to. And again, with the energy of Neptune also being there, it can be this energy around where it is that we are romanticizing and idealizing. So maybe there's an energy around, oh, this loan will fix everything. With Saturn there, it's like it's coming with its own set of problems. Again, it's not saying you can't apply for a mortgage and get a loan, but with the energy of Saturn, do your due diligence, understand there can be delays. And the overarching theme is that Saturn in the 8th house can be challenging because it makes us realize how little control we really have out of life. And you are being kind of asked to work that muscle around feeling comfortable surrendering and trusting. And this could be surrendering deeper within a connection or even surrendering to the divine. It could be challenging. We can fundamentally feel like we are transforming from one era to our life to the next. And so with Saturn squaring Jupiter, your hopes and dreams will transform as you do. You can find that your dreams and how it is that you see the future looks different than how it used to look because, like I said, you're awakening. A realer version of the world is alive for you now, and you're going to see the future differently, both for yourself as well as for humanity overall. So there can be a clash around how things used to be versus the new hopes and dreams that are emerging within you. There can be certain clashes if you are one of the Leos who is navigating through a divorce or something of the nature. There can be certain tensions around friendships, right? Like, oh, those are, my ex's friends, so I no longer have access to them. Hence this desire of Jupiter wanting to expand into new horizons. And with this energy, there can also be hesitations around letting people see, letting people in to a deeper level with this kind of clash here. And overall, this energy is around a need to kind of be open to new belief systems, or there can be blockages around travel. So again, tuning into the shades of how that comes into your experience. Of course, I'll do a video on that topic here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe so that you can tune into it. And if you don't know, and if you're not familiar with my work, I just want to let you know I do a weekly horoscope series called Magic Monday, where I let you know the astrology of every single week and how you can navigate within it. So if you do resonate with me and my style, and this is a lot of information for you to process right now, just know I'm here to like cosmically handhold you through every single week of 2024 and beyond. So make sure to subscribe and check that out. I'll link Magic Monday, my weekly horoscope, below. So we will talk more about that transit, but I just wanted to let you know that there's a little bit of that within your 2024. So in closing, Leo, I would love to rapid fire take you through where every essentially outer planet is transiting so that you can tune into where the cosmos is awakening you within the year ahead. So with Jupiter in Taurus within the first portion of the year, be open to reap the sweet fruits of your labor around what it is that you've been working towards and chiseling. You are ready for more visibility. You are ready to be seen. You are ready to succeed. And then on May 25th, Jupiter enters Gemini, which is likely your 11th house. This is a time time to be open to channel your own inner social butterfly, to network and connect and collaborate with new people. People can be the answer to your prayers within the latter portion of the year. The universe is going to give you what it is that you want through the vehicle that is your network. So put yourself out there. Saturn will be transiting the 8th house, so an important time to be discerning around shared resources, loans, taxes, things of that nature. Chiron will transit the 9th house, which can be a time of facing fears around traveling, getting out of your comfort zone, trusting your gut. Uranus will transit the 10th house, which can bring rebellion with bosses, as well as wanting to liberate yourself from career paths that no longer serve and innovate your career path into ones that wholeheartedly do. Neptune will transit the 8th house. Again, can be an energy around romanticizing, idealizing shared resources, but also some intuitive gifts are bubbling within. There can be a desire around really wanting to go deep into those topics. Pluto will dabble in between the 6th and the 7th house. It is wrapping up a journey that it's been on since 2008 within your 6th house, which could have brought certain transformations as it relates to your health, as it relates to your day-to-day and your work. And then with it moving into the 7th house, it is bringing a transformation as it relates to your one-to-one connections and contacts, both the connections themselves as well as the sort of people that you are drawn to and that you partner with. North Node will be in Aries, which is in your 9th house, asking you to have courage, get out of your comfort zone, try new things, experience new places, unlock new attributes of yourself. And with South Node in Libra in the 3rd house, this is less so about tuning into other people's thoughts and opinions and more so around chiseling and finding your own path, knowing that you are the hero within your own hero's journey. And so Leo, in wrapping up your 2024 forecast video, I would love to leave you with some soul-centered celestial affirmations that I have crafted from my heart to yours to continue to empower you throughout these transits, because I know we touched on some intense themes. It's nothing scary. You are such a strong, powerful soul, and these affirmations are designed for you to tune into that frequency around the highest vibration of these transits manifesting for you, not against you. So I've linked a PDF within the description that has all of these affirmations. You're welcome to save them to your computer or print them, however serves you. So the affirmations are as follows. I tap into my power. As I transform, my relationships do as well. I am open to going deep. I am my own best guide. I am my own compass. I make decisions based on my gut instincts. It is safe to trust my intuition. I am discerning with who I partner with and what I share. I am open for abundant, unexpected opportunities to reach you. I am a magnet for unexpected money to come my way. I lead with integrity and courage. It is safe for me to step into the leader that I was meant to be. I show up in ways that are authentic and true to me. I nurture my community. I honor the like-minded souls that are around me. The right eyes are always on me. I am a courageous, adventurous soul. I get out of my comfort zone. I am open to try new things. I am a magnet for abundant blessings. So my loves, I hope those affirmations were helpful for you. Thank you so much for trusting me to relay your 2024 forecast. It is truly such an honor and not something I take for granted. If you did get any value out of the video, I would deeply appreciate a like, a comment, sharing it with a fellow lion, letting them know the transits you all are moving through. I'm sending you a lot of love, Leo. Make it a magical year. You've got this. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.